That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli here with my friend Matt from Emmons Roofing and Siding. If you're like me, your house took a real beating this winter from all the snow, ice, and storms.
At Emmons Roofing and Siding, we're here to put it back together. We specialize in storm-resistant roofing and siding systems designed to last no matter what Mother Nature throws at it.
Well, Emmons is who I use and recommend, so call Emmons today at 856-556-39 for a free roof inspection.
Or visit us at callemmons.com.
Callemmons.com. Emmons, protecting homes, one roof at a time.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2. And you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your smartphones and TVs. Reuters Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbie, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp, and they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest-growing news channel in America. Make the switch today and join our news revolution. Get Newsmax on cable, on streaming, and download the free app today. It takes just seconds to start. Let President Trump know you stand with Newsmax. It's for real news, for real people. Make the switch today.
Fall means football, and the ultimate game plan starts in your kitchen. At D&K Appliances, we carry winning brands like GE, Bosch, Wolf, and Sub-Zero. So whether it's game day grilling, chilling drinks, or post-game cleanup, we've got you covered. Family owned with personalized service. D&K Appliances delivers, installs, and supports every play. Visit our showrooms in Newtown Square or Flowertown, or online at dkappliances.com. D&K Appliances, the dependable difference.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Spend on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is Seems on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. A massive winter storm is expected to impact more than 100 million people over the next several days. CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick.
From the southern plains to the south and into the east coast, a significant winter storm is bringing heavy snow, ice, and brutal cold. Anthony Love is a fleet supervisor for AAA in Philadelphia.
They're saying up to 20 inches. We're preparing for 20 inches. We have guys starting early. We're expecting the worst.
In Virginia, Governor Abigail Spanberger has signed an emergency declaration.
I am asking all Virginians to stay off the roads as of Saturday night, all day Sunday, through Monday morning.
Wind chill temperatures in the northern U.S. could feel like 40 to 50 below zero.
And because of the extreme cold here in Chicago, public schools will be closed tomorrow. Vice President J.D. Vance is in Minneapolis amid unrest over a federal immigration crackdown there. Vance says that the tragedy in Minneapolis is multi-layered.
The tragedy is there was a misunderstanding. The tragedy is that Renee Good lost her life. The tragedy is that you have ICE officers who are going into communities where they're worried that if they call 911, no one's going to come to help them.
The vice president is asking state and local officials for cooperation rather than disruption of federal operations. On Capitol Hill, former special counsel Jack Smith, who investigated President Trump during the Biden administration on election interference and the handling of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago, tells the House Judiciary Committee,
I made my decisions without regard to President Trump's political association, activities, beliefs, or candidacy in the 2024 election.
CBS's Linda Kenyon.
President Trump has renewed his attacks against Jack Smith. On social media, he called him, quote, a deranged animal who shouldn't be allowed to practice law, unquote. Jack Smith dropped his investigations when Trump returned to office, following a Supreme Court ruling stating a sitting president could not be prosecuted.
In an exchange with Democratic Congresswoman Becca Balint of Vermont, Smith was asked about Trump's repeated attacks on him and whether he thinks he will be charged by the Justice Department. Smith replied that the statements are meant to intimidate him and he will not be intimidated. President Trump is putting Hamas on notice as he introduces his Board of Peace on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum and works to bring the Israel-Hamas war to an end.
And, of course, the war in Gaza, which is really coming to an end. We have little fires that we'll put out, but they're little. They were giant, massive.
Right now on Wall Street, the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P 500 are up. The Dow is up 330 points. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to the official 48 Hours After Show post-mortem on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay,
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
Sup, Pennsylvania? How are you guys doing? Yes, this is your girl, Kathy Barnette. I am here, live, ready to go. The call-in number is 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. You know, at the end of every show, it always like, wow, that went by really, really quickly. It's like time just goes so quickly, and it's because there's so much news that's going on right now. I mean, I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it again, trying to process and analyze, synthesize what's going on in the world around us and keep your sanity is like trying to drink water from a fire hydrant. It's just so much coming at you that is so difficult to actually, know what's coming in, understand it, process it, figure out how you are to respond to it. But that is why I'm here. Kathy Barnette, I always want to say sitting in. I'm not sitting in for anyone. This is the Kathy Barnette Show. It's so cool. But listen, guys, thank you so much. You tuned in to the #1 talk radio station in all of Philadelphia, which we should just say all of Pennsylvania, since Philadelphia is the largest city in the state. But I also know that we cover New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland. So what's up, guys? How y'all doing? Let's get into it. So much going on. So I spent most of the day catching up on all of the Davos speeches. And, yesterday, President Donald Trump spoke at Davos. And I really got the warm and fuzzies listening to that. I mean, he wasn't apologizing. He was filled with resolve. I listened to Howard Lutnick's speech at Davos. He was sitting there with a number of the other representatives from other countries and industries, and he was just unapologetic. It was so refreshing, unapologetic, not promising to subsidize anyone or anything. Like, this is what we're doing. I'm not really here to offer you reasons. I'm just here telling you, right? One of the central themes throughout Davos, and I tend to agree with this, and I've talked about it a little bit, and that is we have now entered the age of the strong man. And this has been something that has been brewing for decades. I would say 2 decades, a little over 20 years. I'll never forget. I'm in college. I'm probably a junior in college. Bill Clinton is president. He is talking about bringing China out of the dark ages into the World Trade Organization. And he promised us that we are now going to export democracy around the world. We are going to make the world, like China, so rich that it is going to soften hard lines. That was their motto. That we are going to soften the hard lines of communism by exporting democracy all around the world. But in fact, that did not happen. Instead, what we did was hollowed out our industries, take our jobs from America, and we shipped it all around the world. We pulled countries like China and, so many of the Asian countries, India and others, out of the third world, out from underneath the rock. And we've made China our number one rival. And instead of saying, thank you, America, what we've gotten is, China dragging their anchors along seabeds, disrupting cable lines. What we've gotten is them trying to, coming into our hemisphere, their Belt and Road Initiative, taking over whole countries and their infrastructures. What we've gotten is a rival who is threatening our very existence. And one of the common themes of Davos is the age of the strong man. So kind of a slight pivot from rule and order, rules of law, rules of order, diplomacy, backroom cigars, a glass of wine, or whatever people drink in those cigar spaces. Instead of that being the order of the day, we're now coming into the age of the strong man. And I agree with that. And I believe this is something that has been brewing for well over 20 years. The rest of the world, like China, Russia, Indonesia, Pakistan, India, they've all been aware of this. I mean, take Pakistan out of that, but the others that I mentioned, they've been aware of this for the past 20 years, and they've been engaged in this fight for 20 plus years. This is just the first time America is engaging in the battle. The battle's been brewing for a reorganizing, a renegotiating of the pecking order of power, hierarchy, who gets to set the rules, who gets to enforce the rules. So this has been brewing for some time. And it is just now that America, thanks to Donald Trump, has entered into this battle. And I know many of you think, Donald Trump just being Donald Trump when he says things like, had I not won the 2024 election, it would be a wrap for America. But I don't believe that was hyperbole. And when you listen to all of the middle powers like Canada and Europe and Germany, because they're not superpower. They've exported their powers out to the rest of the world, but they're middle powers. And when you listen to all of these middle powers at Davos speaking, what they've said in very plain language is that they believe the age of America being the dominant superpower is over. And I believe that proclamation would have been true had Donald Trump not won. But because Donald Trump won, he walked in to the White House, and this term, the first thing he did, and we all did an eye roll, like, why is he doing that? He changed Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. That was him walking into the room, throwing down the gauntlet, putting on his boxing gloves, and says, we are now engaged in this battle. I don't think many of us understood that. Immediately, that was followed with the tariffs. It's a renegotiation of economic power, because what the tariffs did was literally hollowed out our nation and took our power and exported it to the rest of the world. And now Donald Trump walks in and says, you know what? I'm going to use tariff to engage in this battle, to bring wealth, to bring businesses, to bring power back to our own land. So that's what he did. And then we just saw what he did with our military might of going in under the cover of darkness and taking out Iran's nuclear threat. And then we saw it again come early this year in 2026 when he went in. No one knew about it. Went in, nabbed Maduro, brought him back to America, and now have indicted him. He is, and now he's over there saying, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and take Greenland after all, right? So he had engaged us into a battle that none of us really knew what was going on. I knew it, but I don't think most of us were fully aware of this battle that's been brewing. These people are strong men coming in and doing what it is that they need to do. Right now, I have my good friend. You guys are familiar with him, Chris Tremoya. Yeah.
Wow, super impressed. I'm bowing down to you. So
I have been working on that last name.
Bravo,
Chris Tremoya. Look,
yes,
I
look
said
at
it
with
twice.
the trill and the R and everything. You got everything going. Wow, thank you for the
Chris. If you see my
wonderful
notes over
introduction.
here, I have it spelled out phonetically.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's very nice to have the. I always appreciate the invite, but this was a special surprise after that. So thank you.
I know. I've been working. My husband, my sweet husband, he's been with me. Reporter and editor at Washington Examiner. I really appreciate when you have the time to come in and kind of have a conversation. Yeah. So anyway, you heard what I said about Davos, and just kind of like the central theme.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're right when they say, I think they would have been correct in stating that the shift, that the time of America being the top dog is over. I think that proclamation would have been correct had Kamala Harris won and Donald Trump lost. But I think we're actually engaged in a battle.
Yeah, I would actually agree. And I think a lot of the speakers that were there that made such comments were doing so to hide their own, impotence as leadership in the European world.
Yeah.
You listen to the things they say, and it's like, okay, so why all of a sudden are you now taking this position? Like, why did it take till 2026 to do this position? And they're doing it because they're feeling inferior to Donald Trump. Donald Trump was the alpha dog, in the world and coming to Davos, and they were riled and upset over the tariffs that he was going to propose because the whole Greenland thing in general, the refusal to go with the world order on Ukraine. He was basically putting America first. And Europe likes for America to be the leader in the free world, except when America is the leader in the free world and they want to kind of assert themselves. And that's what Donald Trump did. That's what Donald Trump does. And that makes European leaders uncomfortable and nervous. And they feel they're going to have to try to match his macho or his strength when he's speaking.
Yeah.
And
you see it when you see Gavin Newsom going on podcasts, dropping the F-bomb.
Right. Yeah,
and
notice
the
how everyone
F-bomb.
Democrat does that now.
It's
brash
the
and macho,
It's like 30 F-bombs in one sentence. It's like them trying to exude dominance like Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's kind of pathetic if you think about it.
It's weird.
It's just it's definitely weird. It reflects their inferiority and their lack of strength, and the fact that they have to they supposedly hate Donald Trump, and yet they're constantly trying to mimic him. And Newsom did it with his whole Twitter account or his X account when he was trying to mimic the Trump tweets.
Yeah.
And post. It's just kind of sad that
that is
this
so
lack
true.
of strength was missing in the world until Donald Trump, but now everyone who wants to vilify him and demonize him is now trying to
it's like a caricature. But
sure.
It's did you watch his Gavin Newsom speech in Davos?
I watched clips of it. I was up this morning watching the whole Board of Peace
because he
thing.
literally almost said exactly what you said, right? He was like, I don't want. It's demeaning for me to come out here and talk like this, and all the bravado and throwing off the F-bombs and all of that. But I got to kind of match. I got to fight fire with fire. So he's essentially saying. Coping to exactly what you just said.
Yeah, Mr. French Laundry over there.
They see they see Donald Trump as being a strong man. They're weak, but they want to exude macho, this confidence and this macho, and I am a man, right?
Yeah.
I am man. Hear me roar.
The worst is
so I am man. So hear me cuss.
Right.
And throw out the F-bomb.
Yeah, the worst is the Minnesota Mayor Jacob Fry. He's when he tries to get tough and macho and masculine.
Oh my
it's just
goodness!
kind of
Did you see him twerking?
For not recently, right? Like an old video or something.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
he's down there.
I don't know how you
legs
go from that to
spread
try to
wide open and just gyrating his behind.
And that's the thing. You go from that to trying to talk tough, right? And trying to talk
It's
like an
like,
Eastern
dude.
New Yorker, like tough New Yorker
Dude.
businessman. Like how they come on, get real.
Right. And they just throw out these F-bombs.
Yeah.
Guys, listen, you are listening to Kathy Barnette. How about that with my friend Chris Tramoya? I said it 3 times.
Fire and fuego on the last name.
I know. I'm getting bold with this
My
Italian
family's
last
gonna invite you
name.
over for Christmas dinner if you keep going this way.
I know, right? Listen, you are listening to Kathy Barnette. Here's your call-in number, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. I have my girl, Emerald Robinson.
Oh, nice.
She is like doing the most out there in Twitterdom. She'll be on right after this. Okay, guys? See ya.
Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
My dad and I were always close, but some things we just didn't talk about, like his will. After he was gone, we found out he didn't have one, and it created a lot of stress during a time of grief.
Creating a will can be hard to think about, but avoiding it can lead to greater difficulty for the people you love. That's why Trust and Will makes estate planning simple. Create a will online in as little as 30 minutes.
Now, I have a will in place to make sure my loved ones are protected. With Trust and Will, it was easy and affordable, and I got peace of mind knowing my wishes are clear.
Trust and Will. Get 20% off when you visit trustandwill.com/plan. That's trustandwill.com/plan to get 20% off. trustandwill.com/PLAN.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Build your team, build sooner, meet your edge on ZipRecruiter.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. All your roles, fill them sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
For a complete list of Talk Radio 1210 WPHT's contest rules, go to 1210WPHT.com/rules.
Here's retirement phase expert Joanne Small-Canella with today's report.
According to the World Economic Forum, global spending on artificial intelligence reached approximately $1.5 trillion in 2025, fueling investor enthusiasm and propelling markets to record highs. While this surge has many viewing AI as the next unstoppable economic engine, this week's expert report explains why increased capital and excitement alone does not determine long-term viability. We've seen this pattern before. In the years leading up to the 2001 dot-com bubble, venture capital funding of new tech companies nearly tripled in 1999. Despite the influx of cash, many of these internet startups had limited track records of profitability and unproven business models. Their valuations soared north of $1 billion, even as expenses far exceeded revenue. As those new startups struggled, the excitement faded, and the markets followed suit. Everyday Americans on Wall Street lost nearly 78% of market value in just 2 years. Recent analysis from the past year indicates that AI companies are spending more than 6 times what they are currently earning, with valuations once again driven by expectations rather than proven performance. And if these AI startups fail to meet the extraordinary expectations placed upon them, enthusiasm will fade and markets could free fall. Whether this AI investment proves to be a bubble that's set to burst or the most transformative industry since the dawn of the internet, the exclusive crash-proof retirement system is designed to guide you toward retirement peace of mind. With the exclusive crash-proof retirement system, if the AI surge continues, you can capture part of the growth of the market with the potential for double-digit interest returns. But if the bubble pops, our proprietary system will protect your nest egg. To learn how you can enjoy market-like returns without market risk, call 800-722-9728 or visit crashproofretirement.com to schedule a no-cost appointment with a licensed retirement phase expert today.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Yes. Hello, Pennsylvania. We're going to have a good day. In spite of my next guest coming on, I love her. This may piss y'all off a little bit. I'm not sure. But instead, I think it's a good day if you try to find a silver lining. And what we're about to talk about is that information is coming out. They can't hide it any longer. My next guest is the fearless Emerald Robinson. Hey, Emerald, how you doing, girl?
Hi, Kathy. I love the song, and I was feeling great. And then I, too, remembered I'm your next guest.
I know. I know, girl. Girl. Let me tell you. Okay, guys, let me tell y'all. If you don't know who Emerald Robinson is, you need to go out to her Twitter page. You dropped a tweet last night, and within seconds, it was at 4 million views. I mean, because it is riveting. I hope you write a book out of this. But, guys, I'm talking to Emerald Robinson. She is the host of The Absolute Truth with Emerald Robinson on Real Lindell TV. And she is the savage queen of Twitter. Her words, not mine, but it is so true, girl. You are savage and fearless and undaunting. People throw out jabs and ad hominems, and you're like water on a duck's back. You're like, whatever, next. But Emerald, you put out this very long but very riveting tweet. I have to admit, I only got to point 50 out of, I don't even know how many you put out there, but I went all the way to point 47. I printed it off, I read it, and it was, again, it's everything that we knew. Everyone who's not morally compromised, you saw the 2020 election, and you knew that there was, people call it shenanigans. I was like, no, it is theft by 1,000 cuts, but theft nonetheless. Emerald, thank you so much for being on. I'm going to just toss it to you right now.
Thanks for having me, Kathy. My publisher also hopes I will write a book soon as well. He's been after me.
Emerald, this is
I'm actually working on it. So there's that. I haven't told a lot of people that.
Breaking
as far
news,
as
guys.
Reading it, and I understand what you're saying about it. It's a little hard, reading through the points. I will let people put it in more of an article format on my Substack.tv. There to save the 2024 election part 1, and then there's part two. The reason I did it that way on X is that I was concerned about suppression. And one thing that I've noticed is that when you have one thread and you thread them together, while it's easier to read, it's easier to suppress as well because they just have to hide the one thread. So I felt that this was so important, I had to do it this way. So that's that. I know you and I, Kathy, we talked about the election fraud so much over the years going back to 2020. And when I was putting this thread out, I revisited some of the information that we knew back then, and we actually knew a lot of this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
we
knew
just had more receipts.
Yeah, well, today we have more receipts.
I was shocked at how much we knew.
Yeah, but okay, so let me go back. Again, I just want you to know, this is riveting. This was not a difficult read for me at all. I could just go through. I mean, it was just so much. And then you provide links. And then I clicked on the links. I printed off the link, like the link of Director of National Intelligence Ratcliffe, his letter that his report that he submitted after Joe Biden had been sworn in already, or I'm sorry, after the votes were put in, or whatever the case is. So I mean, it's a great read. It went up to 4 million views within moments of you putting the tweet out. So obviously, a lot of people were reading it and sharing it. But as I'm going through, you're right. I'm like, okay, I knew that. I talked about that. Emerald.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, I was the first person in the nation to file a lawsuit on election integrity or the lack of election integrity. Did you remember that?
I didn't, actually.
Yeah.
I knew that some of the initial work, of course, was done in Pennsylvania because it was so ground zero and it was so obvious, right?
It was so obvious.
But I didn't know you filed the first lawsuit.
I filed the first lawsuit in the nation because they finally gave me access to where all the ballots were being held on a Sunday. We took a ton of photos. It was so obvious that this is fraud. I had been talking about it leading up to it because, again, it's so obvious. The Democrat Party is about to steal it. I didn't know about China, but I knew that this was just going to be, it's just open. Like, why not steal it? It's just going to be like taking candy from a baby if we don't get in front of this. And that was on a Sunday. On Tuesday, the day of the election at 8 a.m., I filed the very first lawsuit, putting a spotlight on this. But you did such a great job. And as I was reading it, I just started remembering how they were gaslighting us, how they were censoring us, bullying us, telling me not to believe my lying eyes, that my eyes were lying to me. It was just crazy.
It was, and we were so over target. The part now, and like you said, it really is death by 1,000 cuts. So the story that I'm telling, I include a lot of those about the ballot drops here or, some of the other forms of stealing. But this thread that you're speaking of in leading into who saved the 2024 election, I go back to 2020 because you have to understand it all. And one part of this is the machine fraud. With the votes being flipped internationally in Serbia, right? And that's one part of this. And what was fascinating to me, though I got to speak to the Venezuelan whistleblowers over the last year and some of the more people involved. I can't even tell you, Kathy, I have interviewed dozens and dozens of people, and I've spent hundreds of hours just this year alone on this particular story. Of course, I've really been covering it since November 3rd, 2020, when I realized something was wrong. The machines weren't even on my radar that day until I started getting reports from, viewers, because I was in Newsmax, the White House correspondent standing on the lawn talking about this. And I was getting comments from viewers, precinct chairs, concerned citizens, poll watchers who would write me on social media and say, we're having machine glitches, something's not right with the machines. And I had never even thought about that. I knew they were going to cheat because they had telegraphed that there would be a red mirage starting in May of 2020. But I thought it was mail-in ballots, the dead voters, all the tactics the Democrats have used in the past that we were well aware of. We did not really know about the electronic voting machines.
No.
Except for there had been a group of national security guys. One had worked for Trump in the Trump White House. He'd become a good source of mine. He's no longer with us, unfortunately. An amazing American patriot named Rich Higgins called me, and he said, Emerald, I know what this is. We've already been looking into this. Our IC is well-versed in what this is. And he briefed me on Smartmatic within the first week of the election. And then, so I've been looking into this story for that many years, but a lot more of the receipts and pieces fell into place in the last year. And just to give you the gist of it, for a portion of the voting machines, actually all the voting machine electronic software has a back door that you can enter and manipulate votes virtually untraceable. Actually untraceable. Once they, go in there and do their work and disappear the virtual machine, you just don't see any existence of it. And that's not just that or some of the people who may be supportive of Donald Trump. That's also J. Alex Holderman, who is a hardcore Democrat, has appeared in, Democrat documentaries, testified for Democrats on the Hill about this, saying that they could change the votes without a trace. He's a professor in Michigan. But, with this software, the votes essentially end up, particularly when it's Dominion voting machines, the votes end up in Serbia, where they have an office, a headquarters in Belgrade, Serbia, where they hold the data on Huawei servers from China. There are communications that have not been exposed yet, but have employees from the Serbian Dominion talking with officials in China, talking about the U.S. elections. And then you have Serbian employees talking to Dominion employees, and they're talking about matching up numbers and all this kind of stuff. So that's just one confirmation of this. We have emails, but we also have Venezuelan whistleblowers who worked for Smartmatic, who talk about how they set this system up. Some of them were flown into the United States in different elections. This is not just 2020 we're talking about, and that's one reason folks even Republicans get particularly uncomfortable, Kathy.
This is let me tell you, I mean, when I was running for both U.S. Congress and U.S. Senate, the media, Philadelphia Inquirer, for example, they always try to get gotcha questions to Republicans. Mm-hmm. And the two gotcha questions they were always asked to make you feel uncomfortable, to put you on the hot seat. One was, do you know what a woman is? I don't know why that was a gotcha question, but to them, it was a gotcha question because, of course, mothers are spineless, and so they didn't want to give the answer we all know of what a woman is. But the second question they always asked as a gotcha was the 2020 election stolen? Is Biden the legal, lawful, duly president? And of course, most Republicans will go right into, qualifying, saying absolutely nothing. But it was even within the Republican ranks of trying to gaslight other Republicans like myself, like you, into being silent. Now, what I thought was interesting, at Davos, Donald Trump said plainly that 2020 was a rigged election. Mm-hmm. He said that on the world stage. He said, everybody now knows that, and people will soon be prosecuted. So he's bringing that election back to the forefront of people's mind. I don't know if anyone's going to be held accountable. Are you hearing anything? Because you're embedded.
Yes. So what I have heard, because, Trump's team at Mar-a-Lago was briefed on how they do this, and by the Venezuelan engineers prior to 2024. People with DOD contracts were briefed about this. And then if you read the thread, it tells the story of how that threat in Belgrade, Serbia was neutralized. They were taken out of the equation the day before the 2024
And it was
election.
with jamming, somehow we jammed the signals?
We took out the power. Somebody took out the power. Mm-hmm. And they had no way and from what I was told, fried the servers. But they can get this going again if people aren't held accountable. Okay, so since Trump took office, there have been briefing upon briefing. There has been flipping of assets. So people who used to work for the Venezuelan regime, who are now singing.
Mm.
2 are in U.S. custody. 1 has been in the U.S. for a while but hasn't really been debriefed by any intelligence officials because nobody wanted to talk to him. He's talking. But there's multiple people talking. I know for a fact there are grand juries that have been convened. There are multiple federal investigations. Tulsi has been creating report after report, one in particular that went to President Trump.
Yeah.
Her team at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence have been investigating. They have talked to more people than have even been leaked or reported. They have been extensively investigating this. And there are, I am told, sealed federal indictments. But there are the blockers who do not want to see this all really come to fruition, who are still trying to protect, because it's not just the Venezuelans, it's not just the Chinese, and it's not just the Serbians, okay? There were ties to our CIA, specifically to that Belgrade headquarters for Dominion.
RCIA. What is that? The CIA.
Our CIA.
Oh, our.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you said our.
Our CIA
Oh, yeah.
are involved in this. There are names. I know the names of American traders who have been complicit in making sure this happened.
Now, even to this day, let me just say, Donald Trump was also asked right before he got on the plane to go to Davos by, he held that 2-hour presser, and he was asked about Maduro, and if he had asked Maduro about anything related to the 2020 election, the theft or whatever it may be. And of course, he kind of sidestepped the direct question, but he said when asked if he has learned anything since arresting Maduro, Trump said, "We learned some things." And then he went on to, to say people will be held accountable. So again, even as you're saying this to me, to my ears, it sounds so weird. It sounds so wacky.
Weak.
It sounds so like this would never happen in America. This is a conspiracy theory. You're being radical, right?
Yeah.
So I know that there are those who are listening to this saying, oh my, because we were trained in 2020, shut up, be quiet. This was the most secure election ever. We're going to ruin you. We're going to destroy you. You're going to get fired. We're going to sue you. And it really backed people into a corner and made people cower. But today, and just going to, again, Emerald Robinson's Twitter at the very top, and you provide the receipts. You provide the links. One of them being, these are official documents. Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, at the time, he submitted this report on January 7, 2021, and the subject is Views of the Intelligence Community Election Security Analysis. And he goes through, and there's a very brief 3-page report saying that there's a real problem. Let me see, how did he say it? He said China analysts were hesitant to assess Chinese actions as undue influence or interference. These analysts appeared reluctant to have their analysis on China brought forward because they tend to disagree with the administration policies. They disagreed with Donald Trump, saying in effect, I don't want our intelligence used to support those policies of quote unquote Donald Trump. And so he goes through saying there was influence, undue influence by China into our election. He also goes on to say there was also undue pressure being brought to bear on analysts who offered an alternative view based on the intelligence. The main view on this was the most secure election ever. And he writes this report saying there was undue pressure being brought to bear on CIA and the intelligence community analysts who offered an alternative view based on the intelligence that China was involved in interfering in our election. So this isn't me or Emerald or people like us, General Flynn and so many others just being conspiracy theorists. There is documentation that has come forward now.
Yeah. Yeah. And this was actually, available back then. It just couldn't get any traction. I do want to just point out that you mentioned the question asked of the president 2 days ago in the briefing room. That was our White House correspondent at Lindell TV, Kara Castronova. I think that, I think it was asking about Maduro and sitting down with him, maybe Trump. I think maybe if we'd asked it in a different way, we might have gotten a little bit more of a response. But he did say they have learned some things, and I know for a fact he has. And getting back to the report you just talked about with Ratcliffe, I've talked to the whistleblower in the IC, who's a good guy, who actually wrote the dissent in the intelligence community before Ratcliffe put out that report. He was one of those analysts who were pushing for us to release the evidence and information that China had interfered. And he said they all knew it. And his colleagues, he was one of the ones talking about how his colleagues did not want to put that out there just because it helped Donald Trump. He also told me that they are well aware of Smartmatic and Venezuela and how they factor into it with China, right? Because they all work together on this with China and with their own bad actors in our intelligence community. They have tons of intelligence there. He said that could not be declassified, right? Sure, some of those reports and intelligence and sources you couldn't put out there. But what he did say you could do, what Ratcliffe and Tulsi Gabbard could do today, is release the internal conversations about the underlying intelligence, about the spats back and forth they had on emails about revealing this and saying, no, that's true, right? The people, when they were calling people like you and I crazy for what we were talking about, they actually had intelligence that confirmed what we were saying. And this guy was for putting that out there in a full report and being transparent with the American people. The problem that we have right now, Kathy, is those same people. There were only two guys that dissented really with the overall IC assessment that Ratcliffe had to take into account that China had nothing to do with it, right? There were only two guys that were brave enough to dissent and write an alternative report that had the actual evidence of Chinese interference that was given to Ratcliffe, but they don't work there. They got pushed out, right? But the bad guys, the people who didn't want to give Trump a win and who were anti-Trump and who were protecting the bad actors, both foreign and domestic, they're still there. They're still working in our intelligence community, and now they're working still to block this information. Everything that Tulsi has found out, even what has been briefed to the president, they're trying to still block that from making its way to the American people. But it's been harder for them to do because now there's just been much more evidence of it, right? People have seen it through the years because they kept deploying these tactics to even post Donald Trump in the 4 years of Joe Biden, like in the 2022 midterms, right? And it's just so explosive. There's so many people talking about it now. It's getting a little bit harder. So I think we do have to watch for a possible spin. I know that there was a reporter out there saying now that, Tulsi Gabbard is set to release some information. I just hope it's the right information, and she isn't going to be like John Ratcliffe, who takes into account what the people who are trying to suppress this want and are saying, and then it's just a little something to throw some crumbs and then further suppress it or even spin the narrative. That's what we have to watch out for.
I think back in 2020, I think most of us were still of the mindset that, okay, you and I may disagree, but we want the same thing at the end of the day. I think most Americans were still somewhere in that kind of mind space that, okay, we may disagree on how to get to the end of this path, but at the end of the path, we want the same thing. We want a strong America. We want to save our democracy. We want all of that, right? But I think over the past 4 years, what we have learned is that no, We don't want the same thing. There are really and truly evil people, Tulsi Gabbard. So I think today, unlike Radcliffe, because I think a lot of good people back in 2021 had this information. They knew what it was, and they were still maybe in this bubble of, well, you know what? We will just go along, get along. We all want the same thing. These are good people. Let's reason with each other. I think all of that goodwill, for the most part, for those who are not morally compromised, is over. We now know who we're dealing with. I'm sorry?
I said, yeah, it's totally gone out the window because they totally took any kind of, they removed any facade and revealed who they were. And I will say that I do have more confidence in Tulsi Gabbard than I have anyone on this.
Yeah.
And I actually have far more confidence in her than John Ratcliffe.
Yeah. I mean, well, she has already put out a trove.
She's really trying to do the right thing.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, early part of last year, she put out a trove of information that implicated Obama by name and the various people in that room. So, I mean, this is not conspiracy theory. I know this may sound uncomfortable to a lot of you, but this is where we are. And I think we have, less than 10 months now to get ourselves in order before the next election.
Well, look, the Trump administration's already been too slow to handle it.
Yes.
And Virginia, what's happening in Virginia, and that's where I am, is proof of that. One of the first action items of this Democrat trifecta that now has total power in my state is to put forward a bill that would make it illegal to hand count paper ballots.
Why? Why would that be the first bill?
Right.
And again, we got to take out goodwill with these people. There is no goodwill right now. Look around you. There's no goodwill. Take that and apply it to to the people in your home only. Outside of that, you have to walk into these rooms suspect of and question motivations of people. All of us. So before I let you go, so you're saying that right now, you're right. I don't see much happening at all. I see Tulsi Gabbard out there. I see General Flynn putting a spotlight on this and haven't seen much else. So are you telling me that there's movement happening with Pam Bondi and others that we don't see to finally hold someone accountable?
Remember, investigations could be happening in different districts across the nation. And there can be task force that might be that has certain autonomy from Pam Bondi. So that's where I have some hope. I don't have much faith. I mean, look, the only people Bondi has indicted thus far on election fraud, basically, are related to election fraud, is the indictment she put out this week of 2 DOJ employees at the Social Security Administration who were trying to investigate how. Remember the big controversy at the Social Security Administration, all these fake Social Security numbers and people getting money, and then they realized, wait, these are being used to pad the voter rolls.
Right.
Well, they send that to an outside group because they knew they couldn't trust anybody in the bureaucracy to investigate this. They obviously didn't really trust Bondi's office. And they used an outside group to look at this and say, hey, this data, does this look like it is being used for voter fraud on the voter rolls? And Bondi's DOJ indicted them for the Hash Act violations and used very leftist language in doing it, saying that they were trying to use it to overturn elections.
And these are the people who were in charge of trying to clean that up?
Clean up the fraud at the social. It was the Doge guys, those young Doge boys. So I don't have much hope in her, but there's task force and movement and grand juries that sort of force her hand or sort of she doesn't have as much control in, so that's where I see hope. But again, it's an everyday battle.
It is. Well, Emerald,
people are trying to stop it, but there is movement.
There is movement. Emerald, thank you so much for taking some time out and kind of getting us up to speed. I think we're going to hear more and more and more of this. So this is just a teaser, everyone, a primer for hopefully what is going to become a very real and substantive conversation in our country. So, Emerald, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Kathy.
How can
Good to talk with you.
how can people find you and watch you?
Yeah, you can find, of course, my Substack where I have all this information, emerald.tv. You can follow me on X at Emerald Robinson, and you can watch me every day on lindelltv.com or download our app on Roku, whatever device you have, every day from noon to 1 p.m. Eastern with the absolute truth with Emerald Robinson.
Thank you so much, Emerald. Blessings.
Same.
Yes. Whew, that's a lot. This is a heavy topic. Oh, look, you see this right here? I got my papers. I got my paper. There's a lot. Okay, guys, you're listening to Kathy Barnette with my good friend Chris Tramoya, and reporter and editor at Washington Examiner. We're going to come back and kind of break down a little bit of what we just heard from Emerald Robinson. See you on the other side.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Intel is looking to get its mojo back in the video game market. Intel announced at the Consumer Electronics Show that it's working on a new gaming-dedicated processor along with a new handheld gaming platform. Rivals NVIDIA and AMD have increasingly taken market share away from Intel with their highly sought-after graphics chips. Intel's future gaming platform will be built with its Core Series 3 processors powering new PCs. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
A simple piece of paper. It's something we use every day. For the most part, it does what it's designed to do. It sits there flat on your desk as a placeholder for information. But with a couple strategic folds, suddenly your flat piece of paper becomes an airplane and flies across the room. Your 401k is kind of like that flat piece of paper. It just sits there as a placeholder for your money. Alan Cohen of Spectrum Wealth Partners can show you those strategic moves to take your 401k from just sitting there to creating the income you need for retirement. Call today for a free no-obligation meeting. 856-322-8686. That's 856-322-8686. Or online at spectrumwp.com.
Advisory services offered through Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, and SEC-registered investment advisor. Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, and Spectrum Wealth Partners are not affiliated companies.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Trust and Will. My dad and I were always close, but some things we just didn't talk about, like his will. After he was gone, we found out he didn't have one, and it created a lot of stress during a time of grief.
Creating a will can be hard to think about, but avoiding it can lead to greater difficulty for the people you love. That's why Trust and Will makes estate planning simple. Create a will online in as little as 30 minutes.
Now, I have a will in place to make sure my loved ones are protected. With Trust and Will, it was easy and affordable. And I got peace of mind knowing my wishes are clear.
Trust and Will.
Get 20% off when you visit trustandwill.com/plan. That's trustandwill.com/plan to get 20% off. trustandwill.com/PLAN.
Searching for a new path to wellness? Dr. Molly Fantasia explains how medical hydration therapy can help you reclaim your energy. Listen to Health Watch, Sunday mornings at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
At PGW, safety is essential to delivering clean, reliable natural gas to Philadelphia homes and businesses. If you smell gas, call PGW at 215-235-1212.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, NewNordicUSA.com, or your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Now, you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
The one place where we thought we would never experience this is the U.S. States.
Yeah, let's play that again. Listen, y'all. Listen to this ungrateful wench. Say it, play it again.
The one place where we thought we would never experience this is the U.S. States.
Yes.
Tough.
I know, being tough.
Yes.
Here we go. Right? These ungrateful miscreants. They're just ungrateful. There's something so insufferable about ungrateful people. We bring this miscreant who married her brother, allegedly.
Brusbin.
I know her what?
Brusbin.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that when we get back on the other side at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. We're going to talk about that because this girl went from $50,000 in debt to being $30 million in the bank.
I picked the wrong career.
In 1 year. I know, right? It's
Right.
the Somali way, baby. It's the Somali way. We're going to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about new scum. He really is scum of the earth.
Really is.
Yeah, over at Davos. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about, some Pennsylvania. We're going to put the spotlight on Pennsylvania legislators for a little bit. Let's see the good, the bad, the ugly. Okay, guys, you are listening to Kathy Barnette with my friend Chris Tramoya.
There's the streak is over. The streak is over.
No,
your husband's going to scold you for that one.
Chris Tramoya. Yes, he's in here. He's in the house. We're going to talk about all of that and so much more. Please give me a call. What are y'all doing? Oh, out shopping. Okay, for groceries. I get it. But call me 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210.
Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Trust and Will.
My dad and I were always close, but some things we just didn't talk about, like his will. After he was gone, we found out he didn't have one, and it created a lot of stress during a time of grief.
Creating a will can be hard to think about, but avoiding it can lead to greater difficulty for the people you love. That's why Trust and Will makes estate planning simple. Create a will online in as little as 30 minutes.
Now, I have a will in place to make sure my loved ones are protected. With Trust and Will, it was easy and affordable, and I got peace of mind knowing my wishes are clear.
Trust and Will.
Get 20% off when you visit trustandwill.com/plan. That's trustandwill.com/plan to get 20% off. trustandwill.com/PLAN.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Are you a Pennsylvania, New Jersey homeowner over 60 years of age planning to sell your home in 2026? If so, there are 10 new rules you must know affecting seniors if you want a fast, top dollar, and stress-free sale. Join me and Diane Cordano for a free breakfast seminar Saturday morning, January 31st at 9 a.m., of course, at the Hilton Garden Inn in Fort Washington. Diane's going to show you 10 new home selling rules for seniors, low-cost ways to stage your home, and insider strategies for you to win when selling. You'll also learn if you should downsize now, about capital gains, if you should sell your home as is. She'll guide you through the decision of whether you should sell first and then buy, and more. And you'll get a signed copy of Diane's new book, Hidden Cost of Overpricing. So do your research. Get prepared when you're selling your home. Don't wing it. RSVP now. 215-576-8666 or visit 215-576-8666.com. I'll see you on the 31st.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Hi, Dawn Stensland here. Look around your home right now, especially the kitchen and the bathrooms. Obviously, you use them every day. Think about a refresh. And that's where my friends at Kitchen Magic come in. They're family-owned, crafting high-quality American-made kitchens and baths, and they make the process so simple from start to finish. Right now, you enjoy 30% off kitchen cabinet refacing, 50% off bathroom installations. Start the new year with a home that looks better and works better for you. KitchenMagic.com. Do it today. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hi, this is Dave Barlow from Barlow Buick GMC in Woodbury, New Jersey. At Barlow, we believe that family comes first, and so does the ride that gets you there. Whether it's the elegant design of the Buick Enclave or the power and confidence of the GMC Sierra, we've got the perfect vehicle to start your year right. This new year, enjoy incredible savings, honest pricing, and dedicated service. Visit Barlow Buick GMC in Woodbury or shop 24/7 at barlowautogroup.com. Buick, exceptional by design. GMC, we are professional grade.
For 125 years, the Philadelphia Orchestra's musicians have been the magic makers behind our legendary sound. Join us for these upcoming concerts.
There's spectacular entertainment for all ages, including the perfect introduction to classical music for a child in your life. Saturday morning family concerts are lively fun for kids. See Peter and the Wolf, February 7th at 11:30 a.m. The music literally comes alive as characters in this charming tale are acted out. Join the kids into an unforgettable music adventure.
Get your tickets at philorg.org.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. I've been talking about myself for all these years. Now it's time for you to hear from one of our great clients.
Investor Schooling lives up to the promises. Larry's a great teacher, teaches about the whole new approach to thinking about money. I've taken to heart many of the things that he's taught me, and my financial life has improved.
Come to Investor Schooling, and you could be just like Charlie and change your financial life. Go to investorschooling.com. We will see you Thursday.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
The one place where we thought we would never experience this is the U.S. States.
Yeah, play that one more time.
The one place where we thought we would never experience this.
This what?
Is the U.S. States.
People wanting to know how a bunch of low IQ Somalians was able to scam Americans out of $9 billion.
Unbelievable.
Like what?
Unbelievable.
Like what exactly did she expect? So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying there's that, and like it's just the whole thing is surreal just to think about that. The whole thing was going on and happening, and no one was just aware of it.
But I mean,
turned a blind. I'm sure they were kind of like looked away.
No, not just look. I think many of them put some of it in their pocketbook,
probably,
right?
Yeah.
Because one of the things you realize, I mean, these people, think about it, where they come from. I'm not being racist. This isn't about race, but it is about culture. This isn't about the color of someone's skin, right? I know we don't like to, we conflate words. Words don't really mean what Webster dictionaries say that they are anymore. We like to just make up words, like a boy can be a girl now, right? But here's the reality. This isn't about color of someone's skin. This is about culture. values, beliefs, prevailing ideas, and you put all of those together, when you equal it up, when you add it up, it becomes the culture, the atmosphere that people eat and breathe and live in. And the culture of Somalia is very different from the culture of America. In Somalia, these people can't even get together long enough to create a functioning government. They live by clans and tribes. And then we bring these dysfunctional people by the trolls into our country. We don't force them to assimilate.
That's a big
So
thing.
they're allowed to create little versions of the hellhole they climbed out of, little Somalias with better Wi-Fi. And then we wonder why this clan of this group, this bunch of dysfunctional people cannot behave like an American and show some doggone gratitude. And we got you out of a hole in the dirt, and we bring you here, and we provide resources so that you can open up real daycares, and instead you do here what you would have done in Somalia.
And not only that, but you mentioned that race didn't matter. And I'm going to actually push you, I'll give you a challenge on this. I think actually race did matter on this, because anytime someone tried to bring it up, race was weaponized to silence it.
Right.
They were trying to silence people, and anytime they tried to make it a racial
It's
issue.
not about race.
No, it's
but they
weaponizing
use it,
race.
Right.
Yes.
They weaponize it. And this is what I tell Black people. So apparently, I just found out a couple of months ago, I am considered a foundational Black American.
Okay.
Because I can trace my lineage through slavery.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a prize to be won, but what it does tell me, what it does say to me is that we're not all the same. Just because I may have the same complexion as another person doesn't mean we have the same history, the same culture, the same trajectory, the same kind of perspective, right? I mean, Vivek Ramaswamy, he's a darker complexion than I am. And we had conversations, and I said, Vivek, you're brown. You're actually darker than I am. Do you identify with the history of Black Americans? And he looked at me and said, no, I don't. Clearly,
right.
He's Indian,
yeah.
right? So no, he's not Black American. I asked Kaizen Asidu. He was here in Philadelphia. I brought him here to speak at my event last year, and he's African. Now he is really darker complexion, have a darker complexion than I do. He's from Nigeria. He's a first generation. I think he came here. I don't know if he was born here, but he was raised here for the most part of his life. But his parents come from Nigeria, and I asked him. He's from Africa. I said, do you identify with Black American history? Those of us who went through slavery, our ancestors went through slavery. He looked at me, he said, Kathy, no, I don't. And yet, what we've allowed foundational Black people who actually can trace their lineage through slavery here, what we've allowed is for every group under the sun to to get the benefit of our history, whatever the benefits are, right? White Americans did not hold Indians as slaves. White America did not hold Mexicans as slaves. White America does not owe anything to someone whose family just moved here 5 years ago from Nigeria,
right?
The same kind of deference or understanding that they would give to someone like me, right? I lived actually in the house of my great-great-great-grandmother Rhoda. My great-great-great-grandmother Rhoda was a slave. I grew up in the same home she lived in. I grew up in a home with no insulation, no running water, outhouse in the back, well on the side. Exactly, Tony. Ann Coulter wrote a book about this, is that you have gay people, the LGBTQ, everyone who wants to be a victim come and sit under my umbrella as a foundational Black person, and they get whatever kind of sympathy or understanding or compassion that white America would, or deference white America would give to someone like me, who grew up with the lineage of slavery. And you have all Chinese American, right? Like, what the Asian
Is there an
hate.
Italian American option to file for a grievance or
you
anything I
have
don't know
all
about?
these-
I just
You have all these groups
Yes.
who want some of the deference, who want to use some of the benefits, whatever the benefits may be. I don't know. I don't care. They come, they co-op, and they I think
It's
of
like
the word.
grievance Olympics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the grievance, the
Yes.
grievance. I don't know.
Perpetual victimization.
Tony, what is that word Ann Coulter called it? I can't even think of the word right now. But that's what they've done. And I keep looking at Black Americans saying, get your head out of the sand and recognize that you're just being used. They cozy up the LGBTQ, LMNOP, QRS, TUV group. They cozy up to Black Americans, and they conflate what happened to Black people, the deference that the nation would give to Black people who have a history of slavery. They cozy up to us, and they try to get that same deference so that they can do weird and wacky things with our children, like transgenderism, cutting off their breasts and body parts.
Well, it's I think last time, or maybe it was the second to last time I was here, towards the end of the year, you had Eli Steele on. But his father, Shelby Steele, wrote a great book called White Guilt. And a lot of that white guilt is fueling pretty much everything that you were saying. It allows the grievance Olympics to occur, except it doesn't occur every 4 years. It occurs like every 4 minutes. You have this perpetual victimization of races, of different people. That's why I'm saying, this foundational Black. I've never heard of that. Is there like a foundational Italian American option? Is there, because one of the largest lynchings that ever occurred in U.S. history was 11 Italians in March 1891 in New Orleans.
Wait, say that again.
One of the largest lynchings in American history.
Well, largest by like in one day and one
correct,
group.
yes, at one time. It was Italians in Sicilians, I believe it was Sicilians, but it was Italians in New Orleans in March 1891. And if that's the thing, qualification, where can we my Italian fellows Italians sign up for it? Because it just gets to the point of we're working towards the future. Like progressive, they're supposed to be moving forward, but yet the core tenets of progressivism is just basically focusing on the past and regressive. And what we're doing today is we're desperately clinging to things that happened over a century ago. Slavery ended in 1865. That's over 150 years ago. Why that's still referred to with anything today is mind-boggling, and it just goes to show how they're.
For example, I grew up in the home of my great-great-great-grandmother, right? So that although slavery happened, 100+ years ago, it still shows up in me and what I had and how in my start in life, right? So I am, I understand my history, and I don't know much about my lineage, right? When I meet people like you, I have a girlfriend, she's Italian also, and I go into her home and she has photos going back, 100+ years of her family. Well, I don't know that.
Right.
I've lost a big chunk of my identity. And I read books and I read stories trying to piece together some sense of an identity or heritage of who I am, right? And so I get that aspect of it. But what I don't approve of and what I don't get and what I absolutely hate is how every other group who want to have some sort of deference, they come and they co-opt Black American history in this country, and they say, yeah, you have to give me some special privilege, or you have to allow me to do something that we otherwise would do, blackmail us as a nation to give them passes, to give them leverage, and a platform that we otherwise wouldn't give them because of what happened to people who look and who people like me who have a lineage of slavery, right? And I disagree with that. I don't owe Somalia anything. Right. White Americans in America do not owe Somalis anything. We don't owe Asian Americans anything because of slavery. Now, you may owe them for a whole host of other reasons, but you don't owe them anything because of slavery, right? But they use slavery and they use the history of this nation to blackmail us into doing things, into accepting behaviors and norms that we otherwise would never tolerate because it's stupid.
Let me ask you, so the stuff that you said about your lineage and slavery and being a descendant of slavery, of a slave, you don't use it as a crutch, though.
I don't!
And that's what a lot of things people are using it for today. Even that somebody may or may not have a history of that. It's they use that as a crutch as that they're deserved, they're entitled to something, and it's just not. I mean, you could go back to every group at some point in American in world history, let alone in every human civilization history has had some kind of oppression, suppression, and infringement of rights, violation of rights. It's a sad commentary of human nature in of itself, in that humans do this to their fellow human beings,
right?
But it happens. It's just like
and what we can say is that you will never be able to accuse China of progress.
Right. Yes.
The Uyghurs are still in slavery right now, right? Having their organs taken.
And all the stuff that they went through with the Great Cultural Revolution, through the communists and then the murders and that. It's just like, it's an abomination.
America doesn't have slavery any longer because Americans rose up and said, no more.
Yeah, and work to be better.
And we work to be better. And as a result, that little black girl on that pig farm who grew up in the home of her ancestor who was a slave is now allowed to build a life for herself that is radically different from the life I was born in.
Yeah, and that's the American dream.
And that is because that's the American dream. That is what America has afforded me. Now, does it mean that that slavery never happened and slavery wasn't no, it doesn't mean any of that. What it means is someone like me being able to take an honest assessment of the good, the bad, the downright despicable things that took place in this country and put it in context of what this nation has done to right many of those wrongs. Does it mean racism doesn't exist? No. It doesn't mean that whatsoever. But it does mean that I'm not that little black girl living on a pig farm, and my children are not growing up in that home. My children have a very different story because, and I assign it as a direct result of the American dream.
Exactly. Now, you said it would be interesting if you asked, I forget his name, I'm sorry, the Nigerian...
Kaizen.
Kaizen, yes. Did you ever talk to him about his history or his background coming from Africa, where, the slave trade started and originated?
How about that?
And you have, according to some reports, still goes on today. The Arab slave trade was a big thing. So how did that, I'd be interested to see how that affected him with his background. He had to be a descendant of slaves because it was a predominant thing that went on the continent of Africa.
Well, he wasn't. No, so he's not a descendant of slave. He was free.
No, but I'm talking about in Africa and of itself. Like, there's a history of, or maybe not him being the first, but so that is that a big focal issue over in Africa?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so
Nigerians come here and
love it here.
Yeah, they love it here. They
absolutely
do well.
Or talk about it like it's the greatest. I interviewed a Nigerian family in 2018. There was a natural citizenship ceremony at Betsy Ross House on July 4th. And they did this for a while in Philadelphia, where anyone that was they would do special ceremony for immigrants that were doing it legally coming into the country. And I interviewed a Nigerian family. And this was, I think, at the top part of the Colin Kaepernick controversy. And everything was, it was this a racist country and Trump was racist. And I asked them if they felt that way coming over to here. And they said, absolutely not. We come here. This is so much better than where we were from. I'm bringing my entire family here. We're all doing it legally. We love here. We love America. We love all that it has to offer. And it's weird. You have to go to Nigerian immigrants coming into the country legally to find people who are proud to be American. But yet you have Americans who are born
and
here.
Thriving.
Yeah, and Americans who are born here of all races who just feel this is like the worst place in the world. And it just goes to show, I think, kind of going tangentially, the toxic rot of left-wing political ideology.
I know. Okay, guys, when we get back, we are going to talk about Ilhan Omar.
Yes, millionaire.
I just got off on that tangent. Like, I just can't stand how ungrateful. I don't care if it's from, legal. I don't care if it's from the immigrant community. I don't care if it's from black people. I don't care if it's from, I don't care. We should be grateful. This is the greatest nation
Absolutely
that has ever existed. And to pretend otherwise, it's ignorant and it's just downright unacceptable. And I'm not going to deal with it anymore, like the song says. You're listening to Kathy Barnette. I just love you guys out here on YouTube. Call in if you want to be a part of this conversation. I would love it. 855-839-1210. Tell me your story.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Listen up, football fan. Ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Pennsylvania. TNC Supply. And app only.
Have you been thinking about doing a Roth conversion, but the upfront taxes are holding you back? Welcome to Rothright. We can show you how to significantly reduce taxes on a conversion, potentially saving hundreds of thousands, even millions in taxes over your lifetime. A Roth conversion will give you tax-free income, eliminate required minimum distributions, and leave a tax-free estate for your heirs. Call 855-415-ROTH. That's 855-415-ROTH. Or visit Rothright.com. Accredited investors only. Rothright is not a financial advisory firm. Consult with a tax professional before making any financial decision.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Intel is looking to get its mojo back in the video game market. Intel announced at the Consumer Electronics Show that it's working on a new gaming-dedicated processor along with a new handheld gaming platform. Rivals NVIDIA and AMD have increasingly taken market share away from Intel with their highly sought-after graphics chips. Intel's future gaming platform will be built with its Core Series 3 processors powering new PCs. I'm Jason Brooks.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-393-4600. That's 800-393-4600.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-549-1238 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-549-1238. That's 800-549-1238. What do you have to lose? Call 800-549-1238. Again, 800-549-1238.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. All your roles, fill them sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Yes.
What? This is Ilhan Omar singing as she drifts off to sleep.
Right.
Here she goes. What was she saying? This is Ilhan Omar. She's like, woo.
Oh, this is hilarious.
Hey. What?
Right?
Ilhan Omar.
Yes.
What? You are listening to Kathy Barnette. I have Chris Tremoya in
There
the
we go.
studio with
Back
me.
again.
Guys, give me a call, 855-839-1210. I think that is what Ilhan Omar is sitting, she's sitting back. I have this 90-day planner trying to plan out the next 90 days of what I want to accomplish. I just think this is her music in the back.
Seriously. Well, music in the back from everything here. It seems like it was 3 months ago she should have been had this in her planner.
Let me tell you guys. Okay, let's get into this, okay? Because Ilhan Omar, $30 million explosion in her wealth in just 1 year. Let me see that paper that I gave you. Yeah, at the end, I thought it was so interesting. Now, this revelation of her new net worth came out after a question was asked. Someone had accused her of being a millionaire.
Yes.
And she said, this is Ilhan Omar, quote, "I am a working mom with student loan debt. Unlike some of my colleagues and similar to most Americans, I am not a millionaire and am raising a family while maintaining a residence in both Minneapolis and D.C., which are among the most expensive housing markets in the country," she adds. And then the financial report comes out. And I got to break this down for you guys. I'm going to break this down because I printed it. I'm bringing receipts. In fiscal year 2023, if you ever seen these financial reports that even I had to submit this when I ran for office, and she submitted this as well. In fiscal year 2023, her net, it breaks down the different assets that she has and the value of those assets. And there are a number of them. She has a SEP IRA. In 2023, the value of that asset was assessed at $1,000 to up to $15,000. In 2024, it was assessed at up to $15,000. She had another retirement IRA account. Its value was assessed at $15,000. In 2024, it was assessed at up to $15,000. Okay, that's good. And then she has a Congressional Credit Union savings account. It has a value of up to $15,000. And in 2024, it had a value up to $15,000. Okay, so we're doing good. Then we come to her winery. Her husband owns a winery in Santa Rosa, California, the EST SCRU LLC, S-Crew LLC. In 2023, it had a value of up to $50,000. Okay, that's reasonable. And then in 2024, just 1 year later, it has an assessed value up to $5 million.
Wow.
In just 1 year.
Jeez.
You see my mouth moving.
Right.
1 year. 1 year.
That's when she started listening to this
Her
song.
winery. Play that music softly
Right.
in the background as I talk. Her value went from the winery. She wanted to be a millionaire, and she did. She went from $50,000 up to $25 million.
Wow.
In value in 1 year. But wait, there's more. In 2023, her husband has a venture capital company called Rose Lake Capital, and located in Washington, D.C. It had an assessed value of $1,000 in 2023. 1 year later, yeah, it's up to $25 million.
Wow. That is.
It went from $1,000 value in 2023. And in 2024, it went from $1,000 to an assessed value of $25 million.
Unbelievable.
That's $25 million. Million with an M. Wow. She's well on her way, Justin, to being a billionaire. And with market returns like that, you go from a winery with an assessed value of $50,000 to a winery in 1 year is now worth $5 million. You go from a venture capital business that you only have $1,000 in it, and it goes up to $25 million.
Some savvy investing.
That's some Somali math right there.
Sitting back, listening to Bruno Mars, becoming a billionaire in real time.
Play it, Justin. That's some Somali math.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So freaking bad.
She's going to give Pelosi a run for her
I
money,
know, right? So it warmed my heart when I saw that the House has a probe to unravel the mystery of Representative Ilhan Omar's skyrocketing wealth.
Right.
Because it's impossible.
You're very, very lucky.
It's not possible. It's not possible.
I don't even. It's
not possible.
Unbelievable.
And if that kind of Somali math is possible.
Somali math.
I mean, I got the complexion. Maybe I could.
Right.
Maybe I could. Maybe they can break me off.
You have to get a winery first. That's the thing. You start a winery out in Montgomery or Chester County.
Okay.
Get it there, or you can go back to your roots. You were
Alabama.
Alabama. There you go. Start a winery in
Start
Alabama.
a quality layering center winery.
There you go.
You got to have it all, right?
Right, and just sit back, listen to some Bruno Mars, and let your fortune grow.
So freaking bad, right? So, yeah. So, anyway, the House Oversight Committee is probing Representative Ilhan Omar's skyrocketing family wealth after a $9 billion, that's billion with a B, Somali social services fraud scandal exploded in her district.
Right. Of course.
Yeah. So oversight panel chairman Representative James Comer says staff lawyers are exploring the extraordinary step of subpoenaing. I can't even say
Subpoenaing. There you go.
I can't say it.
Gotcha.
I'm a Somali.
Yeah.
See, I'm halfway there. Omar's spouses over his. Okay. So anyway. Okay. So I was happy when I heard that that the House committee is going to, that they've started an oversight committee to probe Ilhan Omar's $30 million skyrocket in wealth explosion in her financial wealth. But at the same time as I was happy to hear that, I really did have a backflash to Trey Gowdy. Remember when Trey Gowdy was in the House? I mean, nobody ran a House Oversight Committee like Trey Gowdy. I mean, boy, he was beating the chest. He was raining down fire on people. I mean, it was hot, and he was explosive. And then nothing happened.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because I was biting my tongue. I was like, oh, man, what about Benghazi? And, all this talk he did. And I thought you were going to go say, oh, he's great. And I was like, well, I'm on your show. I don't want to be too disruptive.
No.
But thank you. Yes.
I don't have friends like that.
You.
Chris, if you want to be my friend, you're going to have to.
All right, there you go. You unleashed, but no, yes, thank you for saying that, because that's it's so true. All talk, all this stuff like, oh, we're going to get him, and, Benghazi. And
he rained down
joined
fire.
Fox. Yes.
And those House committee.
Right.
And then nothing happened.
And they all missed.
And then nothing happened.
Nothing.
I mean, he had the receipts. He was giving them the business.
Did the finger wagging, everything.
Ooh, he was giving them the business.
Yes.
Wagging that tongue. And I was there for all of it with popcorn like, yeah, Trey.
Here we go. Now it's going to happen. It's going to happen now.
Finally going to hold somebody accountable.
Democrats are going to get it.
Ooh, they're going to get it.
And nothing.
And then nothing happened, right? So I could not help but to have a little backflash.
Yes, thank you for saying
that. We don't want no Trey Gowdy like committee oversight. I want to see some heads roll.
Right. Get some accountability.
I want to see some heads roll. And I want them to bring her white husband into the room. Because, again, the other thing that, I try not to say these things out loud. I think them, but I try not to say everything that I think.
You just told me to do it now, so you got to do it.
I got to say this. It's like, you have the squad. You have AOC.
Mm-hmm.
You have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez with her accent when she wants to really sound.
Right.
I can't even do. I wish I had Sean Farish ability to, to mimic voices. But it's so interesting when you hear Ocasio-Cortez on the House floor speaking, and then when you hear her in New York, in the Bronx, and
AOC
she's trying to sound more ethnic. Right. I don't know. It's so stupid, right?
There's like congressional AOC, and there's AOC from the Bronx.
It's like Jasmine Crockett, right? All of a sudden, she's like sounding hood.
Right. She
grew up in the suburbs.
Right.
She's like my child. It's like my children trying to sound thuggish. You can't. And it's a huge miss if my suburban kids try to sound like they're from the hood of Philadelphia. It's going to be a huge miss, right? But you see, Crockett doing it, trying to sound real. I don't know. I really hate saying sound black because it sounds ignorant. And but I know a lot of people equate that to sounding black. But no, it really just sounds stupid. Yeah. And so anyway, I digress. But it's real interesting when you see people like AOC, Ilhan Omar. I want to throw in Candace Owens. But you see all of these people, but Kamala Harris.
So Hillary Clinton in there too.
Don Lemon.
Yeah, him. Hillary Clinton did it with when she was on there.
No. I'm specifically saying you have these black voices.
Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood you.
That are constantly if I just listen to their rhetoric, I would think white people are out here trying to get me around every corner. There's a white man with a pitchfork coming after my black behind, right? If I close my eyes and I just listen to their rhetoric, Don Lemon, Kamala Harris, Ilhan Omar, AOC, if I just listened to what they were saying to me, I would think, it's like an all-out war of white people trying to kill, and destroy black people. And then you go to the Wikipedia pages or you Google them and you see these same people are married to white people.
Yes.
I was like, wait a minute. Either they were so lucky to find the only white man out there who's not trying to kill off black people, or they're lying.
Yes.
They're grifting.
Slightly exaggerating. Just maybe.
can't. I mean, like, that's not lost on me. Because they were at the height, at the peak of Black Lives Matter. They were all out there leading the charge. The white man's trying to kill you. The white man is the most evil entity on the planet.
Yes.
The white man. And then you turn and they're married to white men. Even Don Lemon, right?
Yeah, right.
They're sleeping with the enemy. But then they come in front of me and they're like, the white man is trying to get you, Kathy.
Yes.
And I'm just like, the hypocrisy, the stupidity. And Black people, you're going to have to screw your head on better and realize these people hate you. They hate you, and they're pulling Somali math on you. And they're getting rich.
Somali math, Somali logic.
Somali math. That's what I'm going to say.
Yes.
Somali math, Somali logic.
But you're right, though. That's how they pander to, get support. It's a weird, it's pathetic, actually. I mean, they just kind of try to, like you said, appeal to the lowest denominator there of, like, being outraged and angry at white men. And then just meanwhile, they're like kind of.
They're sleeping with a white man.
It's just, if you need any more proof of it's all a facade, it's all fake, it's all performative, it's all a show, look at their marital records.
I know. Yes. Let's just start there.
Yes.
Like, are you married
Their
to a
dating
white
history,
person?
so.
Like, the next time you see someone, some big Black grifter.
That's white husband supremacy. There you go.
I don't
just
know.
kind of go with that. Just you marry a white man. That's the white husband supremacy.
Marry the enemy. Maybe that's the strategy, is that they're trying to soften the white man up.
Right.
Or they found the weakest milquetoast white man. That could be it, Sherry. Cheryl on YouTube, she said, or maybe they just found the weakest milquetoast white men to marry. I don't know. This sounds really weird. It sounds like Somali logic. I think that's a thing.
There you go. Somali. You should coin it. Have like a special segment of each show. Somali logic.
Somali logic.
Yeah. Somali logic minute.
Do we have time to play Newscomb? Oh, we do? Okay. Well, like, that's 3 minutes long. Do we have time for that? Okay. Okay, great. Okay. Okay. Guys, you got to hear, because, again, I was listening to all of these Davos. I mean, I got to listen to it so you don't have to. So here's a clip of Gavin Newsom on the world stage. And out of all the things he can talk about, his number one, Trump derangement syndrome was high. Play it, please.
Forgive me, you brought up a tweet, but part of my approach has been a little more aggressive than perhaps a lot of American politicians. I created a Patriot site. On the site, you can go. There are knee pads that are available to purchase. The last round of knee pads sold out, just as our law firms are selling out. Many American universities are selling out, and yes, many corporate leaders are selling out to this administration, selling out our values, selling out our future, selling out what makes America great, and it breaks my heart. And people need to stand up. People need to, courage of their damn convictions. We're the 250th anniversary. The United States of America this year. It's the 250th anniversary. The best of the Roman Republic, Greek democracy, co-equal branches of government, the rule of law, popular sovereignty. Tell me that reflects the America you read about today. There's no rule of law. It's the rule of dawn. I hope for Europeans, it's dawning on you. It's not the rule of law. You don't have co-equal branches of government. You have a supine Congress. You don't have a Speaker of the House. It doesn't exist. Popular sovereignty being challenged every single day by voter suppression, trying to rig elections. Heck, Donald Trump tried to steal the election, the last election, tried to light democracy on fire, and then pardoned everyone that participated in that. Is anyone paying attention to what the hell is going on in the United States of America? So my state of mind is different, perhaps, than many others. I won't be complicit at this moment. I won't. I can't. I can't look my kids in the eyes. And so I'm just blessed that I get to represent a state that's larger than the size of 21 U.S. states combined. Where 27% of us are foreign-born. We practice pluralism. That's a word you haven't heard in America in a year. Where we dominate in every critical category in terms of energy and daring.
Okay, just play the music when it's time for me to get off, Justin. But imagine going onto the world stage in front of world leaders, many of whom do not like your own country, and you have the brightest spotlight, and you spend your whole time denigrating your own country.
Speaking of weak white men,
I know, yes.
Gavin Newsom.
I mean, that's just so, I don't know, it was so infuriating. It was such a juxtaposed position to Donald Trump yesterday where he exuded confidence. And not just, it's not about him. He represents me. He represents you. He represents our country.
Exactly.
And you should want your country to look strong. You should not, it's like me walking outside of my house, going over to my neighbor's house and talking about my children. Or talking about my husband, or talking about our marital problems. We don't have any, FYI. But just imagine if that's what if I walk out of my house with my husband and I go down the street and get up on a platform and I just start denigrating my husband and just putting a spotlight on, everything I dislike. It's like such an evil such a scumbag to do such a thing.
New scumbag, yeah.
I mean, and Newscum, gruesome Newscum, had a different meaning for me at that moment. Like, this is such a weak individual.
And it's frustrating how many Americans don't see that. Like, many Americans think this is how warped, this is what left-wing ideology has done over decades of brainwashing and indoctrination in schools, programming, institutions, whatever. That Americans now get offended if the president of the United States proudly talks about the United States. They prefer Newscomb, the weak white man, going over there and disparaging and denigrating and putting down the United States.
I know. And
that's
apologizing.
What they want. This is the liberals, left, Democrats, all the others on the left today. That's
it
what
is
they
so
want.
Stupid. I was so offended when I saw this. I was like, oh my, this is so crazy. Who does that? What a scumbag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, you're listening to Kathy Barnette and my friend Chris Tramoya. He is in the office. He is in the studio with me. The call-in number is 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. I will see you guys on the other side.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Are you a PA, New Jersey homeowner over 60 years old planning to sell your home in 2026? If so, there are 10 new rules you must know affecting seniors if you want a fast, top dollar, and stress-free sale. Diane Cardano-Casaccio here, Cardano Realtors. Join me and special guest Dom Giordano for a free breakfast seminar on Saturday morning, January 31st at 9 a.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn in Fort Washington. I'll show you these 10 new home selling rules for seniors, low-cost ways to stage your home, and insider strategies for you to win when selling. Also, learn if you should downsize now. Or what about capital gains? Or can you sell my home as is? Or should I sell first and then buy? And much more. Also, you'll get a copy of my new book, Hidden Cost of Overpricing. Do your research, get prepared when selling your home. Don't wing it. Diane Cordano says RSVP now. Call 215-576-8666 or go to 215-576-8666.com.
Have you been thinking about doing a Roth conversion, but the upfront taxes are holding you back? Welcome to Rothright. We can show you how to significantly reduce taxes on a conversion, potentially saving hundreds of thousands, even millions in taxes over your lifetime. A Roth conversion will give you tax-free income, eliminate required minimum distributions, and leave a tax-free estate for your heirs. Call 855-415-ROTH. That's 855-415-ROTH. Or visit Rothright.com. Accredited investors only. Rothright is not a financial advisory firm. Consult with a tax professional before making any financial decision.
Looking for something smart, soulful, and full of heart? I'm Jen Hatmaker, host of For the Love, the podcast where we talk about what really matters: love and family, faith and purpose. Every week, I'm joined by incredible guests for honest conversations that invite all of us to live with more intention, more laughter, and more connection. This on For the Love, you get your podcasts.
Bet365 is paying out before the final whistle.
Check out Bet365's on
and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Pennsylvania. TNC Supply.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WP.
I love it.
The song not preferred by Democrats everywhere.
I know. I love that song. It's one of my favorite. So I had to put it up here. Okay. I was looking at YouTube and I saw Richard. Richard, what's up? I see someone else said that they're trying to call in. Call back again. My team is looking for it now. Richard said, Kathy, you are drawing a lot of conclusions about Omar's financial position with no real numbers. Richard.
Oh, Richard.
I know. Oh, Richard.
Oh, Richard.
Affectionately, did you attend the Quality Learning Center by any chance? What are you doing,
That's
Richard?
Somali math.
I know. That's Somali math, Richard. I am not making up these numbers. These are from her financial disclosure report that anyone can go out and see. Financial disclosure report. It's her financial disclosure report. It's not mine.
It's her denial that said she wasn't. She was the one who denied she wasn't.
She was the one who said she wasn't.
Richard.
Here she is. Okay, do I have time? Let me take this call real quick. Sunny from South Philly. What's up?
Hi, Kathy. Hi, Chris. Thank you for taking my call. I had a question about something that Chris mentioned a few minutes ago. Was the fact that, as a younger person, I've experienced this. You have years and years of leftist indoctrination amongst my generation. We've seen in New York with Mamdani being elected and how critical a lot of people in younger ages are of capitalism. How do we actually reverse engineer that? How do we actually convince younger people that capitalism isn't evil and that socialism isn't the way to go, that America isn't racist? How do we actually address these issues with these younger people?
I'm going to toss it to you.
Okay, so I would say that you have to go out and get active, hold demonstrations, target the youth, get into their heads. Groups like Turning Point USA that help them, Prager University. It's hard because the left has such a grasp and a stronghold on the education and academic institutions in this country. That does present a legitimate challenge. But to combat that, to make a change, to change this culture, that we don't have to deal with these like radical left-wing ideas that men can get pregnant or these other things that, this America is a horrible country or racist. We have to kind of change the culture, and that's only done by pushing things through this education system, offering, I guess, alternative education opportunities and experiences, getting into like right-wing conservative groups, Intercollegiate Studies Institute in schools. So it's a challenge. How to do it precisely, if I wish I could offer you a formulaic plan here, that's probably just not conceivable given the dominance they have. But it's just you kind of have to keep pushing back and not give up and not be complacent and keep on fighting and working for it and demonstrating. And every opportunity you can have to talk to someone, I would encourage to do that and to try to change people's minds and get the truth out there.
Yeah, we got to talk. Sonny, are you still there?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes. And, just to show, to also add to that, we have to start talking. We have to start sharing our stories, because once you stop talking, well, now what are you left with? Either someone coming and violently forcing you to acquiesce to their view of the world, or fighting civil war. And we don't want either of those. So the only option to not getting into a physical altercation with people, because they're not going to just stop. If you acquiesce, if you stick your head in the sand, I used to tell people, you cannot stick your head in the sand deep enough for these people. They're coming for the whole kit and caboodle. And if you don't speak up, because what's the alternative to our words? Is fighting, and we don't want that. So I think the short answer is just, you got to start talking, and we got to start sharing our story, whether people want to hear it or not. Thank you so much for calling, Sonny. Lynn, I see you, but do I have to take a break right now? Okay, Lynn, can I get you? Hey, Lynn from Philly. How you doing?
Oh, fine, Kathy. Absolutely love your show.
Thank you.
I'm calling in just to really, really sincerely encourage people to run for office. And this year, we actually have the committee person positions up, and that's a fairly easy office to run for. So you can go to phillygop.com, or you can go, I put up a website to help people get engaged, and that's Phillies, PhillysRep, stands for Republican, .net, PhilliesRep.net, where they can find out a lot of information on how to run for office, because without committee people, we have no organization. But also you can look on that website and think about running for other offices as well, and they're all listed on that website. There's 3 congressional districts in Philadelphia, several House, all the House, I think, for the U.S. House and the State House are up for election. We need people,
But you're absolutely right. I am up against a heartbreak, I do believe, Lynn. Okay. But you're absolutely correct, Lynn. A committee person. It is all you need are 5 signatures. Just walk around to your neighbors, get your 5 neighbors to do a signature, and then boom, you're in. Okay, we'll be right back on the other side. Thank you guys so much for calling. Call me, 855-839-1210.
Announcing that gold has surpassed $4,800 an ounce last week, and silver is at an all-time high as well. If you need cash to help pay those holiday bills, then you must go to the Estates Roadshow. Gold and silver, old rings, chains, and even broken jewelry. Don't wait. Cash in while gold and silver are hot. 3 locations this week: Chestnut Hill, Media, and St. David's. Bring your gold, silver, coins, diamonds, and watches, even broken pieces, and get cash on the spot. The prices of gold and silver are at an all-time high, so there's never been a better time to sell. No appointments, no fees, no pressure. Just friendly, professional buyers with over 35 years in the business. Go to the Estates Roadshow, now through Friday at the Chestnut Hill Hotel, and Media at the Hampton and St. David Hotel. Get some cash today. Help pay those holiday bills at the Estates Roadshow. For more info, visit estatesroadshow.com.
Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Pennsylvania. TNC Supply.
Every man should have their health optimized. 14 Men's Health offers a unique approach to men's health, providing individualized solutions that address a wide range of critical issues. Dr. Michael Athanasios supports you with cardiovascular disease prevention, improvement in erectile dysfunction, testosterone replacement and enhancement, nutrition counseling, and weight control, all in one place. Reduce the need for multiple appointments with different specialists. Visit 14menshealth.com. Make an appointment today for personalized health care. 14 Men's Health, with one doctor, one location for life. 14menshealth.com.
Have you been thinking about doing a Roth conversion, but the upfront taxes are holding you back? Welcome to Rothright. We can show you how to significantly reduce taxes on a conversion, potentially saving hundreds of thousands, even millions in taxes over your lifetime. A Roth conversion will give you tax-free income, eliminate required minimum distributions, and leave a tax-free estate for your heirs. Call 855-415-ROTH. That's 855-415-ROTH. Or visit Rothright.com. Accredited investors only. Rothright is not a financial advisory firm. Consult with a tax professional before making any financial decision. King Shooter Supply in King of Prussia is your complete one-stop gun store with 2 indoor shooting ranges, training and lessons, and gunsmiths on site. They buy, sell, and trade firearms and NFA-regulated items too. King Shooter's experienced staff and certified trainers can help you with all your needs. Check out the calendar of monthly events on Facebook and Instagram, and feel free to stop in 7 days a week. King Shooter Supply in King of Prussia. KingShooters.com. KingShooters.com.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now, The Drive at 5. 30 minutes of nonstop talk. From Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
That's right. We are back for the last segment. Guys, I just love being here with you guys. It's always such a pleasure, such an honor to be here. You're listening to the Kathy Barnette Show. The call-in number is 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. My next guest, I happened to see a clip of her on, I saw the clip on Twitter. But she was on Newsmax, and it was like, wow, someone is saying the quiet parts out loud, because we're all watching it, but very few people have the nerve to ask the question. My guest is Heather McDonald. Hello, Heather. How are you?
Great, Kathy. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Heather McDonald is the Thomas W. Smith Fellow. She is a fellow at the Manhattan Institute, a contributing editor of City Journal and the New York Times best-selling author of several books, one of them being The War on Cops, When Race Trumps Merit, and so forth. Heather, I reached out to you because this is what I'm seeing. I'm a Black woman. And I know, everything is so it's so explosive when you start talking about the color of people's skin. And yet it is not lost on me that a lot of these protests that we see, people throwing themselves in front of federal agents with guns, a lot of people going in Target, sitting, and all these different things, that a lot of these people are white women. And I've been asking the question on Twitter as best as I can, what is going on specifically? Now, yes, Black people, we got a lot of issues, and I am always in the forefront and ready to talk about those things, and I do. But what is going on specifically with white women? What has happened? Something is going on.
Well, Kathy, I would place the emphasis on women, and there's the whiteness element in there, but generally what we're seeing is a mass female psychosis. Now, men have been gone on absolutely irrational crusades, lethal crusades in the past. There's no monopoly of irrationality and neuroses on the part of females. Nevertheless, one must acknowledge some historical truths, which is that some of the most intense outbreaks of hysteria in the past have been female-driven. There's been female neurasthenia in the Victorian ages. Freud thought females had problems of hysteria. These were not random observations. And on average, as psychology has long understood, females rate much higher on the personality trait of neuroticism. They are more prone to fear, to risk aversion, and they are less likely to be driven by rationality as opposed to impulse. And these are generalizations. I'm not talking about anybody's daughter or granddaughter necessarily, but the generalities are true. And what we're seeing here is a mass rebellion against the rule of law. It is absolutely essential that there be a continuity of law enforcement between the federal and state and local governments. When the states and local governments decide to impede lawful federal enforcement, that is a slow-motion insurrection. And the females that are driving this apparently have no understanding of the fragility of the rule of law. They are playing with fire for their own personal, virtue signaling and self-righteous self-satisfaction, and it is a very, very dangerous moment.
I could not agree with you more, and this is what I was so drawn into this interview that I saw you with, because no one is being so clear without all of the qualifiers in order to say exactly what you're saying. But now let me double click on some things, because one, a couple of things that I've seen that I find to be disturbing. You see women, primarily white women, out here in front of going toe-to-toe with ICE agents who are fully armed. And one woman I've seen several videos with them either having their babies, infants, attached to their bodies, or in the car, and ICE agents trying to reason with them that this is not a safe place to have their children. So you see, there's this inherent kind of mama bear, want to protect my young, but that link seems to be severed, but also a severing of the link of just, self-survival. Like, why would I throw myself in front of a moving vehicle? And you see women doing that. So there's yes, there's some kind of psychosis that is breaking natural links of either self-preservation or just protecting my young. Do you see that?
Well, you're absolutely right, Kathy, and I think another aspect that I'd add is they don't really understand the seriousness of this. They think it's all a game. They think it's, another diversity session in white privilege, and heaven forbid that Minnesotans say we do not want to change the historical character of this community. We have to be open to demographic replacement. For them, this is just another kind of guilt producing encounter session, and that's why you get this reckless behavior in front of law enforcement. They don't realize that if you pose a threat to law enforcement, that law enforcement has the legal authority to use force against you. The defenses that have been given by NPR, by the New York Times, by CNN for the tragic killing of Renee Good, that, didn't the ICE officer know that the wheels of the car as she accelerated towards him were turned away? I mean, this is just absolute splitting of hairs. I mean, there's no way that ICE agent could have known what direction the wheels were ultimately turned in as it lunges towards him. So they're just playing a game. And, I would add another historical precedent to this, which is the pro-Hamas demonstrations on college campuses. Those two were overwhelmingly female-driven. And the irrationality of it could not be stronger, because you had all these females out there chanting robotically for hours on end, globalize the Intifada, free Palestine, supporting a demographic which is the most misogynist, patriarchal in history. And yet, because this is simply a performative theater, they don't think through the consequences of their own actions.
Okay, so you think it's more of them just not understanding the seriousness of what they're doing, or is it a psychosis, or is it both? Like a psychosis, define psychosis, because I'm thinking when you say psychosis, it's a break from reality. They are a mental health disorder is what I'm thinking.
Yes, and I guess it's a little bit of both. We've seen historically, recently, within, the last 2 decades, the emphasis is more on the psychosis, where you have the break from reality with females complaining about the campus rape epidemic and that they're unsafe on college campuses, which is ridiculous. There's no more safe environment in human history than a college campus. Every American student is coddled beyond anything in the imagining of 5 millennia of human being existence. So that was sort of heavily on the psychosis side. In this instance, there's the sort of the collective embrace of irrational action, but it is also simply a case of theater and performance and wanting to signal their own virtue.
Yes, I have Chris Tremoya in. He's a reporter and editor at Washington Examiner. He wants to ask you a question.
Hi, Heather. Nice to talk to you again. Question I have for you, we were talking about women here, and they're having a penchant for being hysterical. All of this, as you know, is tied back into left-wing ideology. And if we go back almost a century ago to the onset of communism and Marxism in the Soviet Union, one of their core tenets and pursuits was to mobilize women to advance ideology. Do you think there's any tie-in to what we're seeing now to that? A little bit more, obviously, after the feminism movement in the 60s and everything that's kind of transpired since then, obviously. But is there kind of a tie-in to the core orthodoxy of women in and Bolshevism, communism, and socialism, and all that, to what we're seeing today? Is that kind of just like the next progression of things?
Interesting, Chris. I would say that females are more collectivist. And so you can also tie it into the rise of female power in the American context in the 20th century, with the rise of the vote, coincident with the New Deal and the assumption of government authority and responsibility over family functions that were once handled in the private sector, that were above all handled by by the family. And instead, now the government aspires to absolutely displace the family, school breakfasts, the idea that a mother cannot feed her child breakfast, which is ludicrous. You can do so in a healthy manner, pennies a day, if you think about it and plan. And, you see that as well with the trans ideology of wanting to keep from parents' knowledge the so-called gender transitions of children. So I would say you get parallel developments within communist blocs and the rise of more sort of social collectivism within the United States.
So it's all part of
is tied to the female. It is, that is tied in part to the female ethic, which is against the individual personal responsibility, the gumption, the drive that created this country, that moved west, that explored oceans, mountain ranges, developed the Industrial Revolution. That was all individual creativity and the drive for knowledge.
So it's all part of the warmth of collectivism, is what you're saying.
We are not too warm in New York, And there's some of us that are chilled to the bone in imagining what's coming next when we stop completely clearing vagrant encampments. It's unthinkable. Yes. Well, the warmth of collectivism.
Listening to you and Heather and Chris, I read a book many years ago. It's called The Willie Lynch Letter and the Making of a Slave, and it was slave owners. They brought in Willie Lynch, who seemed to have the magic formula on how to create quote unquote good slaves, right? And so they brought him to America and they said, tell us your secret sauce. And he begins to lay out in this speech, and they made a little book out of it, of the making of a slave, how to do it. And listening to what you're saying, it is the exact same rubrics that he described to the slave owners then, is that don't focus on the man, focus on the woman, the Black woman. And make her, and it was, and one of the things he would say is, find the biggest, blackest, most revered Black slave male on your property and beat him to an inch of his life in front of all the other slaves, and making the woman believe she has nowhere else to go except to the quote unquote master. But then he would go on to say, if you can do he listed a lot of different things that you would need to do to her. And if you do this successfully, you, the white slave owner, won't have to worry about making quote unquote good slaves. She will do it for you, because she's the hand that rocks the cradle. She will tell her Black girl, her Black daughter, be a strong Black woman, which is what we hear today. Which is basically, you don't need a man, you do it on your own. But then he said, but she will also teach the next generation of Black men how to be a slave, survive, keep your eyes down, don't look, don't cause a fuss, make it back home to me. And it's the same kind of thing that we see even today among now white women, who are the majority in the population, very successful. They tend to, because they're married primarily to white men. Again, you have a different economic bracket. They're very powerful. They've accomplished all the hurdles in life. Women are a little bit of everywhere in every index of life. And I see that same sense of psychology. Am I far off?
Well, I am so sick of the strong women can do it all mantra. I'm so sick of the girls who code programs. The idea that females are still suffering under some oppressive situation and need to be encouraged and given special benefits, special programs, special fellowships, and the only reason that they are not dominant in Silicon Valley and the development of cutting-edge technologies is simply sexism. This is ridiculous, and yet we are cultivating constantly the female chip on the shoulder, and yet biological reality continues to assert itself. There are no barriers to females getting venture capital funding. In fact, as we saw with the Elizabeth, whatever her name was, case, every venture capital firm is bending over backwards to fund female startups. Elizabeth Holmes with her fake liver technology or kidney technology. But you know what? When you look at the pictures in the New York Times or the Washington Post or the Philadelphia Inquirer of the latest bunch of startups in AI, they are all male. They are all male because males are the ones that have that, on average. Again, I am generalizing. There are always exceptions, but I am generalizing. The generalities are true. It is males that are driven disproportionately to figure things out, to push back the boundaries of ignorance, to systematize, to collect data, to use their reason in a dispassionate way, and females are being sold this phony idea that, again, if they're not like proportionally represented in certain professions, it's because they're being held back. And frankly, we are denying biological reality. Females are cracking up, I think, because of a great lie about both sexes, that males are supposed to be docile and subservient, and that females should focus on career, and that it is somehow they're denying their rightful place in human history if they think about raising family, if they want to be a mother, if they want to create a home, and that the only source of should be making partner at Covington and Burling by spending 14 hours a day drafting discovery requests. I mean, that is absurd. That is denying some basic truths about human beings, and it is not working out too well for society right now.
How do we unravel ourselves from this? How do we change this?
Well, we have to start telling the truth about the fact that this is not a sexist, misogynist society, that females have every advantage open to them. I have never been discriminated against in my life because of my sex. I know that I've been given opportunities. I've been invited on panels, media, whatever, because I'm a female. Females have to stop lying to themselves about their victimhood and accept responsibility. And I think we have to valorize motherhood and stop demeaning males. You know, the relationship between the sexes is very bad. It's, Kathy, as you well know, it is particularly toxic within the Black community. There's a lot of mistrust between males and females that is resulting in this just catastrophic 70% or so out of wedlock birth rate. And that's something that's going to be very hard to solve. I think the culture itself has to solve that from within. But in any case, the first start is simply to stop repeating the lies about female oppression.
I agree. That's what I say to the Black community. That's what I say to every community. I don't care what community it is. This is an amazing country, and we're all very privileged to be a part of it.
And what was that? The valor of womanhood? That was a great.
I know. I love that. I wrote
there.
it down. The valorize.
Valorize. Yeah, that's a great.
Of womanhood.
Great,
Is that what you said?
Yeah, mine said
motherhood. Heather, thank you so much for being on. This is Heather McDonald, fellow at Manhattan Institute. How can people read your work?
Oh, thank you so much, Kathy. They can look me up on Twitter and X, which usually posts my recent stuff. I hope it has this interview eventually. And I'm not so sure what my Twitter handle is, but if you just
I do. I'm
Google
looking at
search,
it right now.
Well, you can give it, or the easiest thing is just to Google me, Heather McDonald, on Twitter. But Chris, please give my Twitter handle because I don't know it.
Okay, Heather. So your Twitter handle is HM as in Mary, D as in David, ATM as in Mary, I. That's at HMDATMI.
Okay.
Not
and now,
so easy.
I know.
No wonder I can't remember it.
I know it's a mouthful, Heather. But listen, go to your own Twitter page, Heather, and like me back. Follow me back. I followed you. Okay. Thank you so much, Miss Heather, for being on. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kathy and Chris. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Woo!
Yes.
Wow.
Time flies.
I know. I think I have, 2 minutes? What do you want to talk about? 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Oh, geez. I don't know. Is Richard still doing your math on
Oh,
there?
yeah. Everybody want to be kind. You know, I know in Republican politics, you know, we we work together.
This is war.
To me, right?
It's
I mean,
war.
it's always Republicans working together. Why can't Democrats come and work together?
Right. And the thing is, for Richard, and sorry to kind of harp on you here, buddy, but I mean, what is the angle is that she said she wasn't a millionaire, and a few months later she has $30 million. Whatever math you want to talk about,
even the
that's
low
what it comes.
end.
Yes,
Even the low
it's not like she was
end
$1 million
is
and
$6
$1.
million. I know.
It was $30 million. So what's
all in 1 year? How do you go from $1,000 and then the next year at the low end is $5 million?
Right. And then you tell your constituents, I'm not a millionaire, but yet,
I'm a mom.
Right. Yes.
I'm a working
where's
mom with
Bruno,
a student
Bruno
loan.
Mars song.
I know. Take me out with my Bruno Mars song. And y'all think about it. We got to do better. These people are not incentivized to change. They are in a position of great power. And clearly with this Somali math and logic, they're making a lot of money at it. So you got to stop giving people the pass. And I know we all want to go back to the day where, you know, we agree to disagree and still go and eat dinner together. I mean, I do that with individuals, some. But then I also recognize there are some people, these people are not, they hate me.
Right.
They hate you. And I know that's so hard, and I want to leave on a happy note. Here's the happy note. Stay woke. Not Democrat woke, but be conscious of the world around you. Be conscious of the world around you. Blessings. Take care.
Take care, everybody.
Young people everywhere are making a difference.
Special Olympics has changed my life so dramatically.
It's helped me a lot to be fearless, you know, in the real world.
My friends I've made through Special Olympics are the best people I've ever met in my life.
I truly realize that what I'm doing is for a great cause.
And it's not about disabilities, but it's about celebrating their abilities.
I've made a difference. Now it's your turn to make a difference.
Get involved at SpecialOlympics.org.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. The revolution will be broadcast. This